Hey there. Welcome to another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionary Healers, Movers, and Shakers. I am your host, Paulette Rees-Denis, here to bring you magic makers from around the globe, people who are creating change, who have small businesses, large businesses, hobbies, but they are creating the life of their dreams. And that, my friends, is what living is all about. So let us know how you like this episode. Please subscribe, and we'll see you there. Thanks for joining. Welcome to another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionary Healers, Movers, and Shakers. And I am your host, Paulette Rees-Denis. I am your transformational coach for mid-career women who are on the verge of creating magic and change, because I'm your magic maker and your movement motivator, passion instigator, and all things that I can bring you these fabulous people, women predominantly, who are also magic makers and creating change in the world. And I'm so excited to be able to share these amazing people with you when I get to meet them on my path and my journey, and when I know that they have beautiful things for you. So today, I get to introduce you to Erin Meadows, who is fabulous. She's just outside of Atlanta, and she is also a coach, business coach, I would say, predominantly. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So you can probably tell us a little bit more about your niche and what you do, but I want to know not only what you do, but I want to know why you do it.
I love that. Well, thank you for
Erin. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So I am Erin Meadows. I'm a certified life and business coach. And so what I do, in the most simple way of saying it, is that I help female entrepreneurs make money without making themselves miserable in the process. So I typically come in, I work with a lot of mid-career people who are either exiting corporate, exiting 9-to-5, stepping into their entrepreneur journey. Work with a lot of people who are already in their journey and maybe kind of they were starting to take off and now they've hit this kind of slump period that they get into. And I step in, reach out a hand, give them all the support in the world, both as a coach and as a consultant. So I blend in my 20+ year career working as a marketing expert, business strategist, communications expert, and just really provide that type of support for my clients. Why I do that,
and why,
which is way more important, and what I would say is really my sole purpose, my life legacy, is I am incredibly passionate about helping women thrive. Mm-hmm. So I think far too many humans in general are really good at surviving and living in survival mode and getting by day to day. My goal is to help more and more people actually step into thriving in life and business. And one of the ways that I think women can thrive is realizing they have everything it takes, if they desire, to create their own money from scratch, start their own business, and be leaders. So that's what I do.
Love that. I love that. So how did you get to where you are today? I know I love people's stories. So
oh, that's so exciting. I think, when I think about my path and my journey, like so many people, I chose a career path at the ripe old age of 18. And I always laugh. I'm like, I chose my whole career path at the age when I was still into dating bad boys. And I still thought that was like cool, right? Like to date guys that treated me poorly. So like, I've changed a bit since then, both in career and in my relationship choices. So I kind of got on this conveyor belt where I just got into the grind of a 9-to-5, into wanting to climb that ladder. And I had aspirations. I'm a really ambitious person. And I kind of really worked my way to the top of my kind of part of an organization, which would be to run the entire marketing communications function in an organization. My next step, I started being approached about C-level jobs, chief operating officer, CEO jobs. And as I tuned in, what I realized is I was not at all excited. In fact, it was making me feel sick. I had no desire to move into a C-level role in that type of company. And I realized that I had been running in a race that I actually never meant to enter. I just got on that conveyor belt and started climbing that ladder mindlessly
Ooh.
and decided in that moment, this is not what I want. And this is absolutely not what my soul is crying out for. So I sat down and thought, what do I love the most out of all the things I've done? And what I loved the most in my corporate career was leading, was supporting and mentoring, was helping people thrive in their careers and do the best that they could do without burning themselves out. And so I got a coach. I experienced coaching to help me make some decisions. And then it was a big aha moment. I don't want to be the CEO of a big organization. I want to be the CEO of Erin Meadows Coaching. And I want to help people change their lives and their careers. So that's my kind of my journey. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. That's a great realization.
Yeah.
And I think, and especially for women in midlife, I think there's lots of new realizations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that anything was bad or wrong, but it's just time for a different change. Time for a different outlook on life and time for a different outlook on how you live your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what are your new values? So they don't have to be the same thing as when you were 18 or 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever. I mean, I know I am like a super chameleon because I love life and there's so much to do. But we all need guidance and clarity on how to find out what those things are and then what to do with them.
Yes.
Right?
Well, and I love that. And I love just keeping that door cracked open to reevaluate your values to, one of the main things I help people do is unwind some of their beliefs that they have about themselves, the people around them, the world around them, things that we just haven't even stopped or thought to question. Yeah.
Yeah. Thought to question, thought to change.
Right.
Do I really still believe that? Do I still really want that?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
I sure don't want the things I wanted when I was 20.
Oh, yeah. It's like that was I was meant to go through that journey. And I look back on my career, I don't hate it, right? I mean, there were highs and lows, but I loved that. It was a great journey. In hindsight, can I say I consciously chose that with all the information that I wish I could have had? Maybe not. At 18, I picked a major and I went out and got a job, but I loved it.
And I do think, I mean, I know that I went to college on and off over the years. I even got my master's when I was 50, so it was like I'm taking the time to evolve myself as well as my studies. And I love school. I mean, I love learning and taking classes, and I've constantly done that. But to try to choose that when you're 18, it's like, go out and hit the road, man. Go see what's out there, So many people get so stuck and they never leave their hometown, or they never, see what else is out in the world.
Yeah.
They're fed information.
Yeah. And that feels scary, right? I mean, it can feel really scary. And when we're talking about making a whole career change, kind of like a burn it down moment and I'm going to go after and do this thing that they talk about chasing your passion and trying something that can feel really big and scary and
unattainable.
And when you've got kind of all the other messages that you're getting that are telling you just keep doing what you're doing and stick with it, and that can feel really big. And so that's when you mentioned your values. I think for me, what part of what my journey was getting really clear about who I was at that time, what I valued at that time. And it turned out that I didn't value, I laugh. I don't even know that I value the same things today that I did 5 years ago. And so thank goodness we're growing and evolving and changing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, God, if I stayed the same, I'd be so boring.
Right.
I bore myself.
Yeah. That's part of the journey, is
Right.
to experience it all.
Yeah. So so as you stepped out of corporate into your own path, what's been hard? What's been the hustle?
Yeah. I think when I stepped out, my first business that I started, which I still run, is a consulting business. And I started that. And I'll tell you, the thing that I struggled with, and I see a lot of my clients struggle with, is shifting from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset.
Mm.
I can remember in my first business being very established. I had clients who adored me. I adored them. We were doing great work together. And technically on paper, I had all the freedom in the world, right? Like this is the thing entrepreneurs talk about all the time. I want the freedom to work when, where, how, and with whom I desire. And my nervous system, if I went to go get my hair done in the middle of the day, my nervous system would tick on because I had not reprogrammed myself. I didn't feel like I was allowed to do those things. Or I would sit at my desk with literally nothing left to do, waiting for 5 o'clock to roll around, because that's what I was taught to do and trained to do and rewarded for in my corporate job, was like, butt in the seat. We need you here. So I think kind of just that, and changing the way that you think and realizing that, yeah, you can have freedom, but you're going to have to go out and claim that for yourself. Yes, you can work and do whatever kind of work you want. You can show up in this world however you want. You get to define what professional dress looks like, what professional language looks like. You get to do all of that. And also, no one's going to give you permission to do it. You are the CEO of your company, and you're going to have to take that permission. And that means you're going to have to change the way you think. Yeah.
That's really good.
It's a doozy. We all go through it.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, that's exciting. It can be scary, but it's also stepping more into your path and your values and your beliefs and what you really want.
Yeah.
And even that's hard to define when you've been so caught up in a certain way, a certain role.
Yeah.
Like, what do I really get to do? Do I have to sit at my desk until 5 o'clock? No. Can I like go bowling or go surfing or take a nap? Right?
Yes. Yeah. And it's interesting, in the people that I work with, and I have a lot of entrepreneur clients, and I still have a lot of people that are in corporate. They're just exploring. And even my corporate clients, when I teach them and help them figure out a system where they feel psychologically safe to step away, to just have white space in their calendar, where they're not in a meeting, where they're not trying to create something, it's white space.
Well,
boy, things change for people when you start to do that.
So when you call that white space just being?
Yes.
Just being.
Right. Unplanned time. I tell everyone, if anyone has access to your calendar, block your white space, lock it down. Don't let people see what's on that calendar. Make yourself unavailable and own that shit.
Yeah.
Don't say yes to a meeting. Don't let someone override it. Own it. That's your time. Period. Yeah.
That's good. That's so good. So what do you do? So now this is Erin, the woman, not Erin, the businesswoman, which are actually both the same, right? In this life that you've created for yourself, you're all of that. But what do you do to feed yourself? I mean, I love talking about self-care, and I love everybody has some very similar paths of self-care, but what do you do for yourself? How do you feed yourself?
I love that. And something, and I must have just been channeling this for our conversation, something that's just been with me for the last couple of weeks is, and I deeply believe this, I believe that like personal development is professional development. I believe that life balance and self-care is a legitimate money-making business strategy. So you're right. It's all combined up together. I consider myself a soul on a constant journey. And so I think the first thing that I do to take care of myself as a human being is I ask for help. I have a whole team of people that I will go to. I have coaches, therapists, doctors, alternative healthcare practitioners. I, call on the spirit guides and the crystals and everybody, right? Like I want the whole
back
full
here.
team.
Right
Yes,
here.
ma'am. Yes, like bring the whole team in. And that the first thing that I do is I do that and I make no apologies for it. Like I get my team assembled and we work on the stuff. And so that's the first thing I do. On the day to day, one of the things I'm really working on right now is I think in life, we can get so focused on the spikes of pleasure and self-care, like, oh, I look forward to my monthly massage. That vacation is coming up. And right now, I'm really trying to go down to the micro level. What is pleasurable right here in my home that doesn't require this big moment or this big trip or this big thing? And I love to sing. I love to snuggle my dog, Zoe. I love reading, journaling. I love a good nap. I've been this way since I was a child. I love sleeping when the rest of the world is awake. It feels like I'm stealing time. All of those things. And then, part of the human journey is constantly looking at where we're in the struggle around caring for ourselves. And I'm identifying right now in real time areas where like, hey, I need to shore this up. Like I'm in the struggle here. I'm not actually caring for myself in this area or this area. So I'm always trying to fine tune that just with love and compassion for myself.
And I mean, you and I have been on this journey for a long time. And there's so many things that I can do and I do. But I talk to people. I was talking to a fellow the other day, and he's in between working and retiring, and he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
It's like, seriously? Like,
Mhm.
I can fill up my day with so many beautiful, pleasurable things.
Yeah.
Not just work.
Right.
I know, like my dad was like that. And there's a certain generation, I think, that was like, work, come home, have your martini.
Yeah.
Work, come home, have your martini.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else is there? What else is there?
Yeah.
And my work is my life. I do love it. It is part of my journey, but I still have other things. I love to take a nap. I love to read a book. I love to sing too. And I dance around my kitchen like a crazy woman because it fills my heart with love and passion and joy in the moment.
Yes.
It's not planned. I don't plan that. I'm going to go at 5 o'clock. I'm going to sing in my kitchen.
Right. Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that I love to ask people when they really are struggling with, I don't do anything other than work. I always say it's not so much what you do, but why you do it that really matters, right? The action is just the action. And a lot of times people fill their lives so much with work because that is how they identify. That is where they feel the best about themselves. It's who they think they are. They're afraid to scale back on working because they think the minute that people literally think the minute they scale 10% back, they're going to lose their jobs. And I get it. That's a big, scary feeling. But then kind of figuring out, I always tell people, you're a human before you insert any title you have. Business owner, executive, wife, mother, you're just a human first, having a human experience. And so when we pull out from whatever it is that we're hyper focused on and start to drop in joy and excitement and care, I think that's where we really start to bloom as humans.
Human
and
being.
I have to work on it.
Human being, right? Not
human being.
Doing.
That's right. Just being. That's that white space, that being time. Yeah.
I love that. I love that comparison there between the human being and the human doing. And gosh. So what would you suggest to someone who is making those changes and doesn't know what to do for their own self-care or self-pleasure?
Yeah. one of the things that my coach had me do a while back is to just sit down and just start just brainstorming, write anything down. It doesn't matter how big or how small, that just is something that even for 5 minutes you think would be fun, make you laugh, bring you joy. Just get a list going. I love asking people to write down 3 to 5 things that are most important to them. And I give people a caveat. Don't put your partner down. Don't put your kids down. Let's just assume the whole universe knows your people are important to you. Your business is, don't do that. Pretend none of that matters, and really think about you as a human being. What's important to you right now? And then look at those things and then compare it to your calendar and see if you are intentionally like scheduling time to be with those things. So when I look at my list, things that are important to me would be, like having quiet time, health, right? And so when I look at that, I can tell you right now, more often than not, quiet time is on my calendar, and engaging with my health and wellness is kind of like, hey girl, hey. So that shows me an opportunity of an area where it's important to me, but it's not showing up in my day-to-day life as much as I feel like I'd like it to. So now I can sit down and think, in the whole health and wellness landscape, what are a few things that feel like they might be fun and enjoyable for me to do? Take a walk, go on a wellness retreat, go get a massage, talk to my coach about it, whatever it is that feels like it would be supportive. But I think you got to get clear about what matters to you.
Right. And what really does make you feel good, because ultimately that's it. I mean, we just want to feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. This is all we got.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Love it. Okay. So juicy. And I mean, that's just, all of that is like of the utmost importance, is bringing yourself that personal joy and pleasure so you can, because it helps you get clear.
Yes. Yes.
On why, the why, right? You mentioned the why. Why is like the biggest thing. When I work with my clients, it's like, okay, we're going to go, I'm going to sound like a 2-year-old, and I'm going to ask you why, why do you want to do that? Why? Because that's the biggest question, don't you think? Because you can say, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor, and I'm gonna do this thing, and I'm gonna do this thing, or I think I need to do this thing, and it's like, well, why? And if that doesn't ring your chimes, baby.
Yes. Yeah. Well, because that's probably just your human brain or ego or some kind of like patriarchy bullshit telling you what you should be doing, or any system of oppression telling you what you should be doing. And so I love that. And I think about when you keep asking why, what starts to happen is you drop out of the head space into the heart space, and ultimately into what I call soul goals. What your soul wants.
It's absolutely soul goals. I say that all the time too.
Yes. Yeah. And so, and it's interesting when I take my clients through it, and I do the same thing. I tell them, like, let's shoot for 5 whys. Let's go 5 layers deep.
I go 7.
Yes, 7. Perfect. And sometimes it only takes me 3. And what I notice is my clients will start to feel emotional as they go deeper. So you might show up and say, look, I want to lose 25 pounds. And then we go into why. And we get a little bit deeper and deeper. And then all of a sudden, then come the tears, or the big smile, or the face kind of flushing. And for me, as someone who's pretty empathic and intuitive, I'll get the chills, and I'll start to know, like, we're getting into this soul level with this person. And it's fascinating, because when you really get down to it, it's kind of like that your deepest desire may or may not be that first thing you thought you wanted to do. That first thing might just be a vehicle to get you to the deepest desire. But boy, that's the thing that's going to light your fire and make you actually show up and do the work.
Well, and that's right. Exactly that. Because when you know your why, and it makes sense to you, and it does light your fire, then you want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so simple. It's so simple, but we forget those steps. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this.
Yeah.
But if I want to, and I get to.
Yeah. And when you're connected, that's what's going to get you through. I always feel like motivation only goes so far. We all run out of it. Like we run out of willpower and motivation by this hour of the day, every day. It's 4 o'clock Eastern time. I don't have anything left in the tank to prevent me from not wanting to eat a whole pizza and just go to sleep, right? Like so I mean, this, like, I don't have it in the tank as a human to like fight the good fight at 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night. I've given my all day.
Yeah.
But when you're connected at that soul level to your why, what I notice is when motivation is gone, which it will, willpower is gone, then what we get to do is just say like, but I'm committed to the why. Like I'm committed to the why. And so we don't need the motivation, the willpower all the time. We just need the commitment to the why. And if the why is like a big, sexy, juicy why that lights your soul on fire, you're probably going to be more committed to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you do have to take action. I mean, there's so much to be said about living your dreams and creating the life you desire and asking the universe to give you this beautiful life, but you still need to take action. Yes. And you still need to know why. Mm-hmm. And the why is going to help you take action.
Yes. Right? Yes. We've got to take those steps. And I think when we get stuck in life, sometimes we just need to take the step. Even if it's, I tell people, even if you think it's the wrong step, even if you think it's in the wrong direction, just get out of the head and take a step anywhere. The universe will step forward and meet you. And then just kind of you connect back into that why, and you get your body back in motion. You get your heart, your soul, your mind back in motion.
Yeah. And that builds your energy. And So you can create everyday magic.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So good. Erin, I love talking with you. You're so fun. You're so vibrant. And, I love your path. And you're bringing great change to the world too, which is so good. And so everybody out in Heart and Hustle land, connect with Erin, check her out, see the things that she has to offer. But listen to this conversation, because this is really good, juicy stuff. This is stuff that's important. And it's so easy to forget sometimes. It's so easy to fall back into old patterns and old habits. And even when you're wanting change, even when you're craving change, it's okay to ask for help, right? Like pulling your team, pulling your crystals, pulling your spirit guides, pulling your coaches. Hire a coach, hire somebody, Yes. Because that's the beauty. That's investing in yourself. And that's where people get so fearful. I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy. I don't have enough money. I can't invest in my dreams and desires. And it's like, well, that's all you have, my friends.
Yeah.
Step into your power, step into your beauty, step into the glory and the desires that you have, and make that magic.
Well, the world needs your magic.
Absolutely.
And every one of us. Every one of us. Like, we're here right now for a reason. And so we have to take care of us so that we can go out and light this world on fire in the most beautiful, magical way, right? And really create change and put love and beauty and just so much goodness out in the world. And I know that everyone in your orbit who works with you that's what they do. They're magical. That's what they're called to do. So love that.
So good. All right, my friends. So let us know if you have any questions or comments. I love to know what your takeaways are. Connect with me, connect with Erin. Thank you for being here for another episode of Heart and Hustle, Visionary Healers, Movers, and Shakers, because we are here to shake up the world.
Yes.
Yeah, right on. And leave a review if you can. Subscribe to the podcast. And we'll see you next time. Erin, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today and with all of us.
Thank you for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes.
Bye.